What's up, everyone? This is another episode here of Tables, Ladders, and Bumps. This is a show where we give a three count of the three most pressing things about what we're thinking about in the wrestling world or the world of professional wrestling. We also do a Raw review or a show review, our top three things that stuck out to us the most. And then if we got time, we'll throw in a little debate going back and forth, some hot topics in the wrestling world as well. I'm joined here by Wade.
What's up,
I
guys?
also got ringside Poppy, ringside P himself, all the way from the Shy. What's up, Pierre?
What's up, guys? What's up? What's up?
All right, all right. Hope you guys have had a great week. Remember, if you like the content that you see or you're interested in hearing about more from us, please like and subscribe. And we love engage with y'all in the comments section. So like and subscribe. All right, here we go. Okay, this is the three count for this week. We got some pressing matters on our minds. A little bit of controversy going on here in the WWE world amongst the king and queen of the ring tournament. So let's get started. Although I got to talk about something, and I'll start it off. I got to talk about something that I've kind of just been scratching my head about. So a lot of this I'll be thinking out loud about. But I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on the Bloodline 2.0. Pending pressing questions in my head right now. Oh, I mean, come on. I don't even know if I'm doing that anymore.
They still do it. If you bloodline,
But some
you
pressing
gotta do it.
questions I have that I know that I know. I know. All right, anyway. So we got the Bloodline 2.0, and just to state where we are right now, Roman is gone. Jimmy has been jumped out of the group. Jey Uso is on his own magical journey of ups and downs, peaks and troughs, yeetin, yeetin, and yeetin. Solo Sikoa has deemed himself as the new tribal chief. Swerve, why not drive? Why not? Tama Tonga is like the Tasmanian devil, unhinged, right? It's what perception that I'm picking up.
Yeah,
Tonga
man.
Loa is the new muscle, doesn't say much. He's there. He's a body. He's dressed in black. And and Paul Heyman is just stuck. Now, your current impressions on Bloodline 2.0, and along with answering that, like, is the Bloodline still?
Is it still what?
Um,
Is it still the top story right now in WWE, or at least on SmackDown?
Oh,
I'll go first. I'll go
go
first.
ahead,
That's
Pierre.
cool. Um, for me, it's the only story. There's only like main story going on right now.
Hmm.
That's consistent. There's no other. Everyone is. I feel like it's still trying to find their way and establish some type of story. And I think the King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring tournament is taken away from like stories right now. So that's the main thing that's going on is the tournament. Is this PLE. So the main storyline that's been consistent for the last 3-4 years is Bloodline story. So
Hmm.
I think it still is the main story. Now, is the Bloodline as interesting or the same feel as before? Definitely not, because I think we saw what the Bloodline version with Roman Reigns did and what they accomplished. But that was still a process. They were still building to that. And this is the early forms of Solo Sikoa version of the Bloodline. But it is a different feel to me watching this version 2.0 as in comparison to the old version.
Hmm.
Like with the original version, it was more like you were in awe or like admiration for acknowledgement because you were acknowledging Roman Reigns and that's what it was.
Hmm.
Um, this version of Bloodline, you're not acknowledging anyone yet. That
Right.
hasn't been established, but it's more so they are establishing fear and I won't say chaos yet because it's not they haven't done anything like chaotic or whatever, but it's like fear. It is mafia style out here
Yeah.
with them. And that's the difference right now that I feel with 2.0 versus the original version. Um, the 2.0 version just needs more time to grow, more time to cook.
Right.
It's
Yep.
slowly moving. they're adding members. It started with Tamatanga and Tamaloa, and so I can only imagine that they probably get another member, sometime or whenever the case may be. Uh, and we just got to wait it out and see what happens. So that's kind of my thoughts on it right now.
Yeah. What about you,
Uh,
Wade?
yeah, so I got a lot of strong feelings on this. There's a lot. I feel like there's a lot of stories going on right now. Just all of them are mid. Um, like there's the only like kind of good story to me is the Chad Gable Sammy story where he's like, I mean, oh, we could talk about that at Raw, but like that match was with him and Sammy is by far the worst match, but they were using it to set up him flipping out on, you mean the people on his team, letting them down and everything, and all
Yeah,
of that. So there's like a purpose to it, but I feel like that story's pretty solid. Uh, but Bloodline story, the story itself, I think is a good one, but the characters in it leave a lot to be desired. Um, Solo is just like, no, I'm not about it, dude. He has like a charisma of a thumb, which is funny because his thing is
yeah,
the thumb. So, um, like I get the like him try to be the leader, and I get what's going on. Like, if I read the story, me reading it would be better than what I feel like is
Uh-huh.
coming across right now, just because of the people they and Tomatonga doing like noise thing, like just it like jumped the shark for me. Maybe they're gonna do some like crazy thing, but I don't see this turning into Citizen Kane anytime soon with the people that are playing characters in this. Uh Paul Heyman's back is like carrying all the drama in this whole thing.
yeah.
But they do play like being the like tough guys beating up people and stuff, but I mean if I'm being real, Braun Breaker on Raw like played the scary like psychopath thing like
Yeah.
to me way better than any of the people in the bloodline have since Roman left. So Tomatonga that first time where he was like made what's his name bleed KO bleed and stuff was kind of sick, but
Mhm.
yeah, I don't has he said a word?
Thomas talking. Man, if you count those are words, but
No, those are
no.
not words, that's speaking tongues. So it was
And then to jump off your point too, like I thought this version of them would have been wilder in a sense where they were attacking more. They're just causing mayhem, and they kind of did that, like I said, with KO and a little bit with the Street Profits, a little bit. But I just
Mhm.
thought they were just gonna just rack shop in a sense with Monday Night, with SmackDown, where they just couldn't be controlled, and that was kind of I felt like the what was kind of like put out there in the beginning with Nick Aldis and had Paul Heyman had to kind of control them, and he kind of made it seem like he couldn't control them at all. But
yeah,
they kind of control. They haven't did anything that's been too wild, in my opinion.
that was
Like
that whole part was really well done. Like that was very
Yeah.
yeah,
captivating. Just like you see the car accident and
Yeah.
stuff. Like I thought that was really well done. Yeah. I don't.
Yeah, I feel like, I was even thinking about this too when I was thinking about this process. Like, it is like the mob movies where, let's say, the legacy crime boss, he either dies or he's taken over, and then the insolent children come in and just ruin the whole legacy of the family. I feel like that's kind of like what Solo and like the new kids are doing. And then they don't listen to the wise sage that has been around for decades, helping them build the legacy. So that to me is what it feels like. It's like they're just kind of reckless, even more brute than when Jimmy tried to take over or whatever, and he was being stupid about it. But like the whole like Solo Sokoa thing, and it kind of makes like what Roman was doing when he was the boss, like pretty noble. Because like Roman's like was all about the name of the bloodline, trying to keep the bloodline on top of the game. Yeah, he was about
yeah,
him, but it's like Solo, like you can't trust either, especially when he tells you "I love you," and then he's got that little side eye or his fingers crossed behind his
Yeah.
back. So I feel like the whole Solo thing to me is it kind of keeps me interested of like what he's capable of doing.
Well,
Timeline wise,
yeah.
oh, go ahead, Thomas. Or wait.
Well, yeah, like the reports are that the WWE is worried that once Jacob Fatu comes in, that they're like that's all people are going to care about. They'll be like tell Solo to take a hike, so
Yeah.
they're like taking their time with all of this to try to make him look better. But this extra time is
Mhm.
just making me like want him to not be the main person more and more. So
Yeah.
I think it's doing the opposite, where
Mhm.
like pre backlash, I was kind of into Solo a little bit, and then post it just feels like this is kind of dragging, which is, I mean, a very that's Triple H takes forever to tell most of his stories, except for Bailey, apparently
Mm. Yeah.
leaving Damage Control. Like she'll make that decision in 1 week. Everything else,
Yeah.
like, yeah. So I don't know, but yeah, go ahead.
Well, timeline wise, like how long do you think Solo's reign of terror will prevail? And
And
who do you think will be integral for the redemption of the bloodline?
well, I think you just get two versions. I mean, we'll get the original bloodline, which you we just say the OGs, which would probably end up being um, Roman Usos, and I think they probably put Jacob with them,
Mhm.
and then I
Mm.
think you would get 2.0, and it's Solo, the Tamatanga, Tamaloa, and then The Rock. You know, so I think,
Oh, okay, with the Rock. All right, that's
yeah, I think, and which isn't the original blood. You know, they all kind of mixed together or whatever. You know, so I think that's just kind of just we ride this mug out into Survivor Series and we get another War Games. You know,
Mhm.
I think that's what I'm looking forward to is
mm.
the Bloodline War Games.
Mhm.
In that aspect, because like I say, I agree with you too, way where before Backlash, I was like into what Solo was doing, and I kind of just felt like Solo didn't need to talk really. You get the best talker in the business with Paul Heyman.
Mhm.
And really, you could just let Paul Heyman just do stuff, and you could just have Solo to use intimidation to make Paul Heyman relay messages or whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
You know, they never really established Solo as a talker. And I know I get you want to try to do that now to make him some type of like star and build them up. So we gotta kind of sit through like this growing pain of that. Um, and maybe it's just we're just impatient because we saw Bloodline. I don't think we really seen growing pains with the Bloodline, the original version of Bloodline, because it was Roman Reigns, and Roman came in with Paul Heyman from the jump, and then there's recruiting Jay and Jimmy, you know, and it was just them, and then so it wasn't like a struggle trying to like, do we really like Roman Reigns or nothing like that? Like I think we were all kind of on board when he came back as a heel, you know. So now it's like with Solo, it's like, dude, you never talked in the beginning, and when we first heard you talk, it sounded weird. It's like what? That's the voice that comes out of that physique, that
Right.
body, you know, that
Right.
presence. So like the voice doesn't match the. It's almost like Brock Lesnar.
I was about
Like
to say that, dude. I was like, it's not
yeah,
as bad as Brock Lesnar though, because that's the like,
it's almost, but it's similar to that. So where like you never expected Brock to sound like that, you know, until you get to the point now, and that's the same thing with Solo. So I don't know, man. I'd rather see them just cause chaos instead of trying to do promos and segments in the back. Just
Right.
cause chaos. Just be a different version of the bloodline that just cause chaos where there is no real like rules anymore. We just abide by whatever we want to do, whatever we feel. You look at us the wrong way, is get down and lay down, you know. So, and that's what I thought with Kevin Owens. He made a comment, and I thought that was just gonna be like, hey, okay, anyone that makes a comment towards us, now we got a problem. And
Right.
I don't know.
No, that's good. Kind of just like don't even need to say much. Just bring like the ass kicking, like
Yeah,
almost unprovoked.
I think they need
yeah,
to have Jacob Fatu on the new Bloodline side, because even with the Rock, do that. Like if you think about the actual like wrestling skill on that side, that's absolute ass compared to like the other side. Like, and I'm not a big Usos fan, but if I'm talking like them in tags versus Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, like I don't know if you guys
Mm.
have seen their New Japan stuff. It ain't that good. Yeah, I would be. And then you got Solo, like that would be you need like Jacob Fatu over there, I think. And then maybe put Sami Zayn on the other side.
Mhm.
Because just the charisma and like wrestling skill is just, oh man, that is a
Pretty lopsided.
giant dip. Because The Rock is not, you mean, an in ring like guy either. Like who's gonna like? Uh, I mean, they're gonna do. It's basically like you mean a hardcore stip match where like you can use weapons and stuff, so that helps it. But still, oh, they're gonna have some matches with each other leading up to that point too. So I
Yeah,
would, you gotta need someone who can freaking ball out there.
yeah, you can go. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, yeah,
Yeah,
no, so those are my thoughts, and thanks for sharing yours about the Bloodline 2.0. If you agree or disagree, or if you have ideas for what the Bloodline 2.0 should look like, who will be integral in the redemption for the Bloodline name, and how long this will go on, let us know in the comments your ideas about the Bloodline 2.0.
it'll go on
All right.
forever.
Yeah, pretty much. There's enough kids being born to keep carrying. Um, All right, Pierre, what you got for your the 3 count this week?
So this week I wanted to talk about the big controversy with Tiffany Stratton, that post and delete that she had with the match with Jade Cargill, saying some stuff that she probably, well, she didn't say it, but they had a voiceover saying some stuff that she said.
Mhm.
Uh, and initially when I saw it, I didn't think much of it or whatever. Maybe because I was just busy like working or something, so I saw it and then it kept moving. But I didn't ever see her post it originally. I think I saw it do another like account or whatever, and then they made comments about it. And I read the comments and I'm like, oh yeah, this isn't cool. And then it was like, well, I kind of doubt that Tiffany Stratton is like that, you know. Or we just say racist, you know, if that's what the premise of this whole thing is, you know. And maybe not even, it's hard to even put that label on her. So just like in that mindset, you know. Because I seen posts of hers and she posts like she had a post with 21 Savage playing in the background. So it's like, and I get that don't really validate anything because you can still be that and just rock with the music or whatever. But I feel like it's a different era to where not all, but I would say like a lot of people are kind of just cool with you as a person, a personality, and not so much your skin color. I know it's still out there, you know. It's not gone. It probably never be gone. But it was like I didn't hear anything from Jay. I didn't hear anything from Bianca. I didn't hear anything from a lot of superstars or wrestlers or anything like that. And that was strange to me.
Yeah.
Um, because I remember when the fans had booed Maxine Dupree at a house show, and you had everyone was speaking about it, you know, commenting and saying stuff. When Sky Blue had the incident at the ringside or whatever with the one fan, you had all these other super wrestlers coming out and commenting about different things. When people were saying stuff about Bianca being on the cover of 2K24 this year, um, people came out, all the wrestlers came out and saying support and different things like that. This was one of the instances where I didn't hear anything, and it was like, so it was hard to tell if it was legit. What really was the case with that? But it does seem like she paid a price for doing that, you know. And it could just be like she'll be just in an era with a social media to where it's like, yo, we just reposting what fans like and stuff like that because there's some form of support. And maybe she didn't really put 2 cents into it and thinking about what she reposts. You know, maybe she just saw like, oh, some fan reposted me, and I'm just gonna, all right, made a thing about me, and I just reposted because sometimes this happens, you know. Um, so I think she just needs to do better with because she's a brand and she's part of a big company, and so she just probably needs to do better with managing her brand, her look, her image, especially if that's not the angle that she's trying to go with, because that's not a cool angle to go with in 2024. So I don't know.
I can go. I got a few. Uh, so I think, I mean, you brought up that like no one defended her outright. It's a little bit different than those other situations because the other situations, like, there's absolutely no reason not to defend the people where like the fan is being creepy to Sky Blue and like you mean the fans are being mean to like Maxine because like those people are like objectively completely innocent and being like mistreated. Where like Tiffany, like whether it was like regardless it was a mistake. I don't think she's maliciously
Yeah,
like it was a malicious thing, but they kind of there were reports that like there wasn't heat from anyone backstage and stuff. So like they kind of did it
mhm,
like the PC way to do it without like having everyone be like because it is kind of weird if she posts in my opinion, I clicked on two people reposting her repost and
mhm,
I didn't hear the sound either time, like on Instagram. And I was like, why are people mad? Like I watched it like two different times in the day. Like so I didn't on Instagram I don't even hear the sound
yeah,
half the time when I'm watching this stuff. So like there's she could have not heard it,
yeah.
like, and just reposted it and like you mean with the laughing emojis because she's like you mean beating Jade's ass in that
Jake,
part,
yeah.
which is you mean believable. The other thing is too, apparently like that voiceover like is like super popular right now on TikTok. I'm not into TikTok, but apparently it's like one of the most popular voiceovers right now. So
Mhm,
she may be in tune with like some of that stuff going on. And like if she did hear it and be like, oh, that's that funny, like you mean voiceover that's like viral and not think of it in like a malicious way
yeah,
either. We're like, oh yeah, this is like you mean a funny TikTok thing right now, and someone you mean oh did it for my video and like shared it. Um, but like the other thing is like she's a heel too in this
mhm,
whole situation. And um like I mean posting it's not great, but it's also in my opinion compared to like other things people do, like I think it's pretty mild compared to like what Christian does talking about people's dead fathers. So like yeah, I'm looking in the scheme of things and like all of us are like fine with that and I'm like well, I mean a voiceover with like you mean someone saying it from a TikTok thing like I get why people would be bothered by it and I people are
mhm.
bothered by the dead dad thing too, but like I think like wrestling has kind of accepted it. So like I'm kind of my issue is that I think they had her lose the match and not being
That's it.
queen of the ring because of this, which was like her best friend's Nia Jax on the on the roster
Yeah,
to my knowledge. So I don't see her as like you mean hating people, you mean
of color,
of
a minority, something
color or
like that.
anything.
Yeah,
So like that would be kind of random to me and like it because it seemed like that match when I watched it, it was they have good chemistry, her and Bianca, but
mhm,
it seemed like a lot of stuff had been changed like last because it seemed like they were a little bit like doing stuff that didn't seem like it was completely very well planned out to me in that match. And I could have just been reading into it because I thought Tiffany was supposed to win that match based on
yeah.
everything, but now, if they did that whole, you mean bodysuit thing as like a teaser to us, and like she wasn't ever supposed to win, then cool. My big issue is if
And
they have her lose because of this thing, and to my knowledge, like if this is the one mistake you've made, that's like a
Mhm.
pretty like reposting something is pretty small in the scheme of things when you think of like super ignorant stuff a lot of the dudes on the roster post about politics.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
which I find are
Mhm.
like a lot more offensive towards you mean I I think if you're you mean a minority or something, a lot of the stuff that some of those you mean dudes have posted is a lot more offensive than like a repost of a TikTok thing. That but again, I'm white, so I can't I feel like a lot of the outrage was from white people, which is like one of the
Uh-huh.
things that annoys me and I'm like I'd like to hear what you mean like African American people have in like how they feel about it, but like you mean some like the white people being super pissed off about it. I'm like I don't that's like most of the outrage I saw. And then when you hear the match, she's a heel and she's still being cheered, I would say 30 to 40% in the crowd versus Bianca, who's like a big baby face.
Yeah.
So it seems like the outrage was like just the internet. Because if the
Like
fans that go to
it's
shows
like
were
yeah,
mad, it would have been
yeah,
like there would have been no tiffy time cheers or anything. It would have been like
yeah.
deathly loud. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. What do you think, Marlon? I went
Well,
off on a lot of tangents there.
a lot of the comments were like, what, like people didn't even know what was going on because there would be one comment that would say cancel her, end her career, WWE fire her. Then the next comment would be like, wait, what happened? So I feel like they put the fire out pretty fast.
Mhm.
Whoever they may be. And a couple of things that I learned from this was one, you're right. All of you guys, every reason of why you guys mentioned she could have posted it, such as not hearing the volume, thinking it was viral, thinking Jade would have been cool with it. What was the other one you mentioned, Pierre? Like, uh, whatever, being a heel. I thought those same things too. I was like, well, yeah, that could be true, but at the same time, she is a brand. She is a personality. And in times like
Yeah,
this, you got to be really the two words that came to my mind was emotional intelligence. That's like huge in the corporate world right now. Like that was not showing good emotional intelligence, just knowing the
yeah,
temperature of the online community. So, whatever reason she had to post it, I still don't think it was wise to do it, from my
yeah.
perspective. But the things that we
Well,
don't,
especially if she heard it. If she heard it, I
Mhm.
would say like it wasn't wise to repost it, you know. But
Yeah,
I'm gonna say
definitely.
it's a possibility. Like, she didn't hear it because like I say, a lot of times I'm on IG too, and I gotta hit the sound they hear stuff,
Yep.
and like I say, she could just be like, I had Bronson Reed um watch one of my stories one time because I reposted something he reposted, you know, and so like I think they're watching what fans do because like
Mhm.
they appreciate that, you know, in a sense. Um, but I know they need to know that all fans aren't positive. You know, there
Yeah.
are some fans that say, you know, they might agree with that statement posted in the video. You know,
Mhm.
yeah, Jade is that. You know,
Yeah.
uh, because it's just how people. That's just how the world is. You know,
Yeah.
and so like I say, it was just strange to me to not no one mention anything about it.
Right.
Like Jade didn't say anything. You know, because she seems to be one of those figures to where like she would speak out about something like that,
Hmm.
you know, or someone would come to her defense about something like that. And it's just not in WWE world. At least for me, I didn't see it. I didn't see it anywhere.
Yeah.
Nowhere it caught my eye to where no one said anything about it. So that was why it just felt like, was it really something? Did it really happen or no? You know, I mean, I know
Right.
it did, but you know,
Yeah, and I would say on top of the thing that I learned as far as like it was just dumb for her to do it, but two, like there were a lot of people not defending her per se, but defending the situation of like, look, we don't know everything. And to me, I was like, okay, I guess WWE to me is still insulated as far as like cancel culture or controversy. Like a lot of things that happen within WWE are pretty much contained, right?
yeah,
And I was like, okay, so we're not so quick to throw the baby out with the bathwater or cancel somebody's career, at least in the WWE world. Like at least there's a discussion about it. And to
yeah,
me, I was like, okay, that's a relief to me that WWE is like still a safe zone. Like, don't bring your politics into the ring. You know, you don't got to be doing all that. Like, let this be its own little organism, and let it do what it's supposed to do. So that's the second thing that I've realized. It was like, okay, we're still in a safe space here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if they told people not to comment on it and just let it blow
Right,
over. You know
right,
what I mean? Like
Mhm.
I could be
right.
like, hey, just like let it blow over. Because I think her and Bianca, like, and Jade and Naya, like, posted a video like literally the day before
Yeah,
on social media with each other. So like I'm pretty sure they're cool.
Cool.
And I think even if Tiffany did this, and my thing is too, she's like what, 25?
24, 25, yeah.
24, 25. Dude, I posted dumb stuff like and like shared, like, you know what I mean? You're just like
Mhm. Yeah. It's the
like
internet.
I
It's
would
just yeah.
like is that now like on Facebook it's like random stuff I said when I was like 27. It's like you mean 7 years ago today, and I'm like, what am I even talking about? Like I just like it's like it wasn't like, but so I kind of give a little bit of a like,
Leeway a
hopefully
little
it's
bit.
just like a learning experience. Like,
right,
hey, you got to be careful. Maybe don't just like repost things and like,
right.
I mean, just think before you're doing this stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't. Um, but yeah, if it's cool, I'd like to transition from this because it kind of deals, you mean, into my topic with the King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring booking. If that's cool with you, Marlon.
Yeah, let's
Um,
do that. If you're listening to this, let us know your thoughts on the whole Tiffany situation. You know, if there
Is
was any
Tiffany a racist?
nuances that we may have missed. What was that?
Is
They're gonna
Tiffany a
say I'm
racist?
racist.
Is
They're
she?
like, "Oh, the white guy defending Tiffany Stratton." I like
No.
as I'm like arguing for it, I'm like, it looks so ridiculous. This like, oh, the ghost is defending Tiffany. I'm like, well, like,
Does Wade have a KKK hood in his closet?
yeah.
Tell
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, let's move on to yours. Let's move on to yours, Thomas. What's your count in the three count today?
So mine is like on the the booking of the King and Queen of the Ring and kind of the outrage that has been going on. So we had like the Tiffany Stratton side of everything where I mean there was outrage before, which we don't know for sure if they changed the match, but it seems like
Yeah.
they did. Which I have a big problem with. If you mean a few hundred people are super pissed on social media about something that was an accident, and we're gonna like change all of this because of that. I yeah, I feel like that's. But if that was what they had planned, I don't mind having Bianca win. Uh,
Hmm.
it seemed like they changed it last minute. Oh, one last thing I wanted to say about the Bianca and Tiffany thing. If they had heat with each other, they have amazing chemistry because I could not see that there was like no receipts or anything like that. It wasn't
Yeah.
like Bianca was taking it out on her. So like Bianca's, awesome professional, but um, it seemed like I liked the Bianca and Tiffany match, but it felt to me like I had said they seemed like it wasn't as well planned out as the ones
Mhm.
on Raw have been. Um, I don't know if that's because they changed things or what, but the like booking of how they had Jade and Nia Jax's thing was ass. Like that was so bad. Like don't put freaking Jade in the thing if you're gonna like not allow her to lose, or
Right,
like if you're gonna have her get
Mhm.
DQ'd in that way. Like
right,
that's like at least have Nia Jax grab her kid or something.
right.
You know what I mean? And then have Jade do like, you know what I mean? Go all in. Have her like go to grab the kid, and then Jade, you know what I mean? I'm gonna defend
Yeah.
my kid and beat her with a chair. Not Naya brings the chair in. I catch the chair, but not really. It still kind of hits me, so like
Yeah,
Naya should be
Yeah.
DQ'd. And then I hit Naya. Like it's just dumb in my opinion. And I
Maybe.
was like,
maybe could have just like the execution of everything. Because not to cut you off, I felt like it made sense because. Well, can we talk about the booking? Like, I didn't agree with Tiffany Stratton and Bianca fighting so soon because I thought they was already trying to like establish something pre WrestleMania with them
Mhm.
two, and I thought they would have had them have a match at Mania. That's what I thought they was pushing towards, and then they kind of went away from that, and it was all like the big three versus Damage Control. So to have them, because I thought this would have been a good match to have later on at a PLE. I mean, you can still have it or whatever the case
Yeah.
may be, but I guess this would I didn't want to see it so soon, right? Like right now in the tournament, and even like Jada and Nia Jax, like I felt like that was another match that I didn't want to see in the tournament. Like I felt like this can be its own separate like storyline because they already had an interaction in the Royal Rumble, so that was the beef right there, and so I kind of was picking Nia Jax. Either it's going to be Tiffany or Nia to be Queen of the Ring for me.
Mhm.
So when Nia versus Jade Cargill, it's like, well, it's too early to see Jade take an actual loss, especially since she just won the tag team championships. Uh, I'm not bothered by the DQ, because it doesn't feel like it doesn't hurt her. Um, and Nia still moves on, and she didn't. Jade once again didn't take any big bumps, and she didn't look weak in the situation. Um, she looks like the good face, defending her daughter, image and stuff like that. But like I said, it was just the execution of everything, like the chair slipping, the pause, and it's like everything was like
So
loading up in slow
bad.
motion. It's like mm. It was like you're playing like 2K, you know.
Right.
It wasn't fluid, and so I think if everything had moved and it was more just smoother in execution, I think it would have looked better. Um, for me, that's what I felt about that because I feel like you couldn't have Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax both advance to the finals
I mean,
because you got heel versus heel
you
at Slam.
can. You like it's not the end of the world if you have two
Yeah,
heels go against each other because Tiffany would be the babyface of that situation. She's
Right.
very well liked, so like I don't
Right.
think that would have been the worst thing ever. Like having Tiffany, you because I've seen people saying like, oh, you couldn't have had them, but like Tiffany's essentially, you mean like you mean anti-hero almost like she's kind of
Yeah.
the bad person that you're like rooting for, like a lot of the fans are
mhm,
rooting for.
Right.
So and that's she'd be a situational babyface against Nia Jax, like because everyone hates Nia Jax.
Hmm.
So um, and I think that match would be. I would have really liked to see Tiffany in that situation where she has to play the situational babyface. I think that would be good for her career and like for WWE to see how she would kind of be able to play that you mean
mhm.
character that is in that situation. But I guess I'm kind of different from you, Pierre, because I like having some of those matches because you could wrestle again. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not um
I guess for me, I just wanted my first taste of it. It is like I wanted it not to be confined by. I guess you could branch off, and this could be the start of something in the tournament. Because like I see
yeah.
Ricochet keep bumping to Dragunov, like, oh man, we gotta finish business. Like, dude, go do speed stuff now.
Sit
But
down.
so I get that you can still branch off and have more storylines
Yeah.
out of the tournament. I guess just at least for that Bianca and Tiffany, that was already like started already. I felt like, and I felt like
Mhm.
that shouldn't have been in the tournament per se this time. Uh, and I just feel like it maybe it's like exaggeration, but seeing like Nia Jax and Jade Cargill, two dominant forces, that is kind of like a dream match in a sense, you know. Um, not saying they can just go
It's
out all out and just go and perform,
it's
but
more in
the image
theory
of
than
them
actual
together,
in practice a dream match. In
yeah,
theory, it's a
you
dream
know,
match because Jade's like you mean like looks like she's like chiseled out of like you know what I mean
yeah,
Marble.
marble, and
Yeah.
then you mean Nia Jax is just ginormous. So like
Yeah,
like I get that, but
Well, both of these last matches had heat, like from the Rumble. So Jade versus Nia, kind of unfinished business, and then Tiffany and Bianca in the Rumble were
yeah,
integral too. So that's why when you know Pierre, when you mentioned I didn't want to see it so soon, it was like, yeah, you could do a series of matches like Brock Lesnar and Cody
yeah.
or Cody and Seth, and you could create that legacy rivalry, which I think is happening between Sammy and Chad right now. But like, I think a legacy rivalry between Tiffany and Bianca would be pretty sweet, like 2 or 3 years down the line, looking back.
yeah, because I see this as like a good opportunity. Because how I still think Tiffany's gonna be Money in the Bank.
Mhm.
Mhm. She better. Unless she does something
Yeah.
crazy again.
Um, so I think she'll be Money in the Bank, and I don't think she's cashing in on. I don't think Bianca will be the champion because I think it'll be Bianca against Jade at like SummerSlam or something,
Mhm.
like for
Yeah.
non belt. But I think Bianca will challenge Tiffany for. You mean probably at WrestleMania? I've Bianca.
Mhm.
There's a good chance Bianca either wins Elimination Chamber or um whatchamacallit, because Tiffany will cash in at
Soon.
some point against Bailey,
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
gather.
You don't think
But
Tiffany versus Charlotte Mania rather
uh
than Bianca versus Tiffany?
I would ooh, that would be a good match. I mean,
Yeah.
Tiffany would certainly be the babyface in that situation. You could have her like
Mm.
threaten to kill like Ric Flair
Ric
and
Flair.
everyone still be cheering for her over Charlotte. So, um yeah, I don't mm,
'Cause I know we're
yeah,
getting Jay versus Bianca. I hope they slow roll it out. I feel like SummerSlam would be too soon, but
yeah, it's fair.
WrestleMania is almost too far away to do it. You know, I feel
Yeah.
like that could be a good WrestleMania match between the two of them. Give Jade enough time to really
Get
get
better.
in the system of WWE.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I don't want to rush that. Yeah, we know it's coming. It's just don't want to rush it real soon. You know.
Mhm.
Yeah. I also I don't know if I think Jade's ceiling is as high as everyone else has it at,
Hmm.
since her and Tiffany have been wrestling the same amount of time.
Mhm.
When you think about it like that, it's like it's not like she was getting trained by Cody when she was in AEW and stuff. It's not like she got you mean no training and had like 50 or 60 matches in AEW. So I like she was I don't know. She has like flashes that I think look really good. So I mean maybe,
Right.
but I also I'm a little bit weary. But yeah, you're right. I think SummerSlam would be way too soon because that's like what 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and have they even defended the title yet? I don't think
Mm,
they
No.
defended the
no,
title yet.
No.
So
no,
so
no.
yeah, they need to do that like at least 3 or 4 times first. So yeah, that's probably a Mania match. So I guess Charlotte and Tiffany maybe two Barbies against each
Yeah.
other. That's um but yeah, I just feel like the SmackDown booking for King of the Ring has been ass. Like compare and then like Raw's is like I mean pretty good. Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
um the EO and um
Natalia, Io versus Shayna Baszler, Io
all of
versus
EO's matches
Lara.
have been awesome
Io
too.
Yeah,
versus
She is
Lyra.
Yeah, Lyra, like even though that thing was shared, that like her like silhouette, I was like, there
Silhouette.
ain't no way
Yeah.
Lyra's gonna be in the finals of that.
Right.
I would have bet money, like especially before the silhouette. I was like, she'll probably like you mean beat Zoe Stark, and then that's that.
yeah.
Or you mean some random person. Uh, but I did not think they were gonna push her
Mm-mm.
that hard. So that is shocking to me, and I think she's been. It's just weird because I like what they're doing on Raw, even though like I wanted Dragunov to win against. You mean Jay?
Jade.
Like I got it. Like he's super
Hmm.
over, and I was like, as long as they don't have hit Jay beat Gunther, I'm like cool. Like whatever. Like you're gonna save Ilya and Gunther for you mean some crazy match, maybe WrestleMania or
Yeah.
something. I'm totally good with that. So and all of those matches, I really didn't know what was gonna happen. You know,
Hmm.
I couldn't predict who was gonna win.
In Raw,
And
is that what you're talking
then
about?
in Raw, but
Yeah.
then SmackDown, it's like, I don't know what's gonna happen because they're, like, booking it in the dumbest ways
Right.
possible, like, LA Knight gets distracted for 1 second and gets hit with this dumbest
Oh my gosh.
terrible finisher, the, like, execution of the chair thing with
Yeah.
Jade
Jade.
and Nia, I'm like, "What is going on here?" Like, it's like, did someone book it and then their, like, kid who's like, you mean type it on the computer and messes everything up for, like, the SmackDown one. It made no sense, like,
Yeah.
they were taking risks in Raw, like, having people win and, like, it seemed like winning and losing mattered, and
Mhm.
then they got cowardly for SmackDown. Just you mean
Right.
or have d like, the execution for the Jade thing was bad, but, I mean, you could have done any other you could have had Nia cheat,
Yeah.
Mhm.
like Nia accidentally low blow the ref or on purpose, but, like, it looks like an accident, and then she's, like, beating what's her name with the chair, and then that's how she loses.
Yeah.
Or I get, like, actually have her more threaten the kid than being like, "Your mom sucks," like,
Yeah.
let's come on now.
Well,
Th
I guess I kind of get that just because like you are in my kid's face, so it's like I'm pretty sure they probably make it like a lioness type of thing. Like you're harassing my little lion cub, and so you get the full wrath of the lioness coming out, and that's what it is. And it's like I just lose control, and so I just got to defend my kid. So
well,
I get that part, but
Use
then
the
she shoulda
chair.
used the chair, then
Right.
instead of letting Nia use the chair on her and
yeah,
catching it, then doing
yeah,
it. So, like,
Yeah.
that's it.
that's where
It's the
I
execution. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
it's
like the
the
execution.
yeah, that was
The
just
idea is great, but the execution it was just poor.
Yeah. Which is so
yes.
interesting because when I was watching SmackDown on Friday, we were out on vacation, but we were in our hotel at that point, and my daughter was watching, and I had to sell everything that was going on to her. So like during the Jade and Nia match, like when that drama like unfolded with the daughter or whatever, I was like, wow. I was like, look, that's what I would do for you. You know, if somebody like approached you, I would defend them too. So like I wasn't even really paying attention to like the execution. I was just trying to tell a story to my daughter while all of that was going on. So I kind of saw it through like different eyes, even like the whole abysmal like Cody and Logan Paul thing, you know, that I think about it, like the whole contract signing. But yeah, I had to like
Yeah, that
sell
was
this show to her because she was like literally on my lap, like watching with me.
Mm,
So yeah,
that's cool.
yeah, I don't I did yeah, I just it's so weird. Like, because it was yeah, like, the booking's been so good on one side and the other side,
yeah,
just, like, everything that I don't like about WWE was done on the SmackDown, like, King of the Ring thing, and then the, like, parts that I'm like that like about, like, wrestling and everything, like, if you're gonna do a
Hmm.
tournament, do it like this, like, that's what's been happening on Raw, so it's been, um but the women have been
Showing
had
out.
way better matches,
yeah,
like,
Yeah.
overall, I think,
yeah,
so, yeah, I mean, EO, dude, is just she's so good, man, like, it's
yeah.
like, I'm kinda over the Liv Morgan thing, I'm like, at this point, I'm kinda like, "Oh," like, just
Yeah.
you give EO
You
the
know what's
belt.
weird is the championship matches for King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring aren't interesting to me this time around. Like the Becky Liv thing, it's kind of blah. Logan Paul, Cody Rhodes, we know that Cody Rhodes is going to win.
Yeah,
So I mean, that's obvious. You know,
yeah.
so it's like what are we even doing right now? You know, uh,
Yeah.
I don't even know what other matches there are. What are the other
the triple threat, Sammy, Chad,
Oh
and
god,
Bronson
yeah,
Reed.
and they have freaking Bronson Reed in there. What is going on with that? No one
So
wants that. Not
that's
even Bronson Reed's family wants him in that match.
the problem too. So it's like it's the Raw
Ugh.
before the PLE, and you don't have Bronson Reed even in it at all. So it's like,
No, he
what's the
said
point?
one sentence to Sammy, so that's like, so he's in it. Like that way we don't forget
It-
he's in this match. Oh, I'm
yeah, so
coming
it's like,
for it.
man,
Cool, dude.
Come Tuesday.
Yeah. Do we want to do a Raw review? What stuck out to us?
Yeah, let's do the Raw
um,
review. That was the end of our 3 count. Let us know what you guys think about booking so far, the brackets, and how it's leading up to the supposed championship matches for King and Queen of the Ring. Let us know what y'all think in the comments so far of the King and Queen of the Ring tournament. All right, let's transition over to the Raw review. What's pressing on your mind from this week's episode of Raw? If I may start, I was
mhm.
thinking about the Chad Gable heel turn, or continuing of the heel turn, turning against the Alpha Academy and chumming it up with the Creed brothers. The parts that stuck out to me during these segments was I would say just like the berating of Maxine and Tozawa. In my head, I was like, well, he's kind of right. So it's like this team isn't gonna take them to the championship belt. Like
Yeah.
they're not. They're
Yeah, they
too
suck.
true in character. Yeah, exactly. And like, what have they done? What have they done lately of significance for Alpha Academy, but also for the universe? And then like Otis, he
For
could
the
crush or
universe.
actually put up a good fight. Yeah, or the universe. So I like it. I like this angle. I like how we knew this was eventually going to happen, but I like seeing it unfold. And I like how when Otis came and told Chad, "Oh, I came to let you know that I apologize to Sammy," and then he goes, "Hey, Creed's like, just think about what I told you guys."
Yeah,
So we already know, like, okay,
it's in the works. Yeah.
he's propositioning them, right? Yeah, I love that part. This was my favorite part of the night, probably, as far as any type of storyline goes. And yeah, I
Mhm.
think Chad Gable. Oh, and plus we saw the signs of like Pert Gable, right?
Yeah.
Kurt Gable
So
and
I
Free
love
Otis.
how all of this is unfolding. What about you guys?
No,
Yes.
I agree with that. I wish I not to sound bad. I wish Chad Gable would have leaned more into Maxine Dupree. Um, just mention about how the fans stay booed you because
Mm-hmm.
you suck,
Mm-hmm.
and really put more heat on Chad Gable that way. Like he's trying, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like the typical heel thing, like, oh man, you suck, you guys aren't doing nothing for the group, you guys are beneath me, and it's like, all right, but really, we see the chaos that Drew McIntyre causes on the internet by saying stuff. Like we just saw Nia Jax get into Jade Cargill's daughter's face and say your mom sucks. Just be a menace. If you're gonna be a menace, go full menace. You know, don't hokey pokey it, or nothing like that. Like man, go all in. And that's the era we're supposed to be into. We're not supposed to be in
Right.
the PG area anymore. That's what they keep saying. So like lead into it. It's a storyline. It happened. It's real. Um, WWE never hesitated to really shy away from stuff that really have happened before. So
Yeah.
use it as part of the show.
So Pierre's basically saying he wants Chad Gable to slap Maxine across the face like he did to
Yes.
Otis, is what you're saying. So you want him to abuse women. All right, that's cool, man. Whatever. I mean, no big deal. Oh,
Put it in a place. We're going to Jedi, so we got to put them in the place.
the for I think I think the Maxine thing, the crowd isn't really into her very much.
Right.
So
Mhm.
you could
But she got
rip
some
on
cheers
her,
though.
huh?
She got some cheers. I feel like she got a little
Yeah,
momentum,
there was
not
a
a
bit
lot,
more
but
than a rat pissing on cotton, but yeah, like it's not like there's a standing ovation for her.
Right.
So yeah, I don't. I mean, I agree. He could be meaner to her for sure, and I would be fine with it. But
so you also hate women.
yeah, Just Maxine, apparently. No, I mean, I think Maxine's a nice person. I've said the whole time they need to, like, if they had Harley Cameron in her place, everything would be so much better because she could actually like wrestle and is way funnier, and could do character work. But because Maxine's acting ain't doing it for me one bit.
Right.
Like, just I'm not a fan. Um, but like her whole babyface thing where she was learning to wrestle for that month time period was super endearing, and now I'm just kind of like over her as a character, period. But uh I guess I think the stuff with Otis is really good. I
Yeah,
am I
I
am
love it.
really like him slapping Otis and just Otis's acting of like the puppy dog thing. I think is I don't think there's much more that you could like get to turn the crowd against you more.
Right.
Mhm.
Because it starts I feel like it starts to get diminishing returns. Like if he just like goes up to Tozawa and like just starts like you mean beating the hell out of Tozawa, it's like, I mean, all right, dude. He's like, you mean 5 feet tall and like it would be like whatever. I don't think like the crowd kind of likes Tozawa, but it's not. But like Otis, the crowd really, really likes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he plays I actually think Tozawa's acting has been pretty decent in the stuff too. But Otis plays that puppy dog thing so well. Like I've been really impressed with Otis's acting in this and the like parallel of how Sammy was in Otis's place when he was in
Mhm.
the bloodline and bullied and like
Mhm.
slapped and beaten up. You know, like I like how that's a thing. Totally think Otis is gonna screw Chad over at you mean Saudi Arabia. And then this is gonna
Mhm.
go on a whole other you know what I mean, another
Yeah.
month to another
Yeah.
pay-per-view in my
Yeah.
but I would be what my hope is that the Creed brothers, you just had Julius Creed after Otis screws him over,
Yep.
suplex Otis, and just like go ham on him. But I agree that story is the one shining light, I think,
Yeah.
in the stories that are going on right now, because it's kind of dog water right now for most of the stories. But
Yeah. 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 All right, Pierre, what do you got for your raw moment?
The one thing that stood out to me was so back to Uncle Hottie, the QR codes. Um, and I felt like I saw maybe because it's been part of the show, it could have been coincidence, but the lights flicker off one time doing a match.
Hmm.
The LEDs doing the Gunther versus Jey Uso blinked off for a little
Hmm.
bit. Uh, so I got hyped. I thought Uncle Hottie's about to come out. I wasn't. I'm on board with the whole idea that we're not getting spookiness as Saudi Arabia. We will get it like soon, especially because Jey Uso the
mhm.
match or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but the other thing that stood out to me was like I'm not a fan of them like Michael Cole, Pat McAfee,
Oh god, it's
Corey
so
Graves and Wade
bad.
Barrett. I hate that. That they pointed out. Like, what you guys? You guys are part of the show.
Yeah.
We know that already. It's supposed to have been something that only the people outside or people watching would saw that.
Right.
Not part of the production or whatever. So you saying you guys see that and it's been going on for weeks, so we see it too. Duh, like we're not stupid, man. Like we know you guys see it. Let us live in our fantasy,
Yeah.
in a sense. So don't be Captain Obvious and point it out like, oh yeah, we've been noticing too, guys. And then we clicked on the other one, we saw like the psychiatrist got she's missing now. And it's like unless you guys are thinking it's not getting enough traffic, people aren't clicking on them or scanning them enough to see what's going on. So maybe that's why you guys are mentioning it now. But I highly doubt that. I think they're doing the job that they're supposed to do. I think the QR codes are working and it's making people go investigate and become Batman and detectives and stuff like that. Like I don't need them to point it out. So that's kind of my thing
Yeah.
too. Like I said, I'm just surprised that they didn't come out Monday night and the match ended like that and the show was just over. I think they
Right.
ran out of time. So
Well,
I
yeah,
hated
they
that.
went
Hated that too.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
especially
like
because
Pussy
like
Jameson.
in any of the previous QR codes or glitches, there was no like, oh, Cole, is like your monitor okay? Or like, like were the lights tripping out or
Yeah.
whatever? Like there was no subtlety to it. It was just like, oh, by the way, in the past 6 weeks, we happen to be noticing them too. So it's
It
like,
the whole my whole issue is with the Michael Cole and Pat McAfee selling of it. Like Marla, I didn't even think of like what you were saying, like with the like selling, like what the like if they just it was so easy to
Mm-hmm.
do. When that happens, you see them with their screen and they like you just
right.
see one of them like shake the screen, like what the like what's going on? Like that
Yeah.
would have selling it that way would have been real. I thought I like kind of cool. Like
Yeah.
if they did like a replay of them, or I mean they could even show real time while that's going on, like them
Right.
them reacting in that way. Like just they're so terrible at selling the stuff. Like, oh, it was very disturbing. Like, cool, dude. Like,
Yeah.
it's the most like milk toast like description of what's going on. Like, I haven't watched the new one yet. Is there?
No,
I
man.
heard that I heard there's like a jump scare, which I'm not like pumped about. But like if they have that with, like if they showed one of them reacting to like a creepy thing in there, and they could
Mm-hmm.
sell it, then like I'm cool with. But that's the only way they should be involved in any of it at all. But
Yeah.
you just
Mm.
or you see Pat McAfee's an idiot. You could have the QR code and have him like with his phone, like
Yeah.
try to do the thing like as it's going. Like that'd be a cool way to have done it too. Like because he's a goober, like you could totally see him like he has a job and he's like doing the QR code, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like he's Booker T. So just you can getting in there, like that would have been cool. There's just so many ways they could have done
To do
it
it. Yeah.
other than the
Yeah.
one way they chose, which was terrible.
Right. So do we think we're getting the Wyatt Six at Saudi?
I don't know, man.
I I'm starting to think it
Oh,
might happen now, and I think
yeah.
it's so funny. I think it's so funny. You guys are more than welcome to share me ranting about it not happening there, and then like just edit in them showing up in Saudi Arabia, but also show the Saudi people like what? Like I didn't do the QR code once. What the hell is this shit? I'll tell you what, no
Oh
Saudi
man.
person's gonna know who Dexter Loomis is. I'll tell you that. Not one of them. Not one.
Oh man.
Oh, man.
The I'm sorry.
All right, let us know what you think about the Uncle Howdy QR codes going on and how the WWE is handling it. Are they going to appear in Saudi Arabia? So let's see what questions are about that. Thomas, what you got for the Raw review?
Since you guys have been mostly positive, I'll be negative on mine. The I cannot stand this Becky Lynch Liv Morgan feud. I can't. I oh my god, their lack of chemistry is it is just
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Like I'm not the biggest Liv fan. I kind of like her, you know what I mean. But I like I'm really into this whole thing with her and Dom
You don't hate
and
her.
Judgment
Yeah.
Day and
We know what it
like
is, though. It's the black
what
hole. It's the black hole.
the,
It's real hole.
the Rhea's hole. Yeah,
Yeah. That's what
I
it is.
don't.
That's the main thing. No one cares.
I think they just don't have chemistry. I think it's just a lack of chemistry. Because if you had, I'm telling, if you just put Damage Control feuding with Becky, I think all of this is way better.
Mhm.
In my opinion,
Yeah.
you could have. This is how bad the chemistry is. You could just have Io yelling at Becky in Japanese with no subtitles,
Japanese.
and there would be more of a connection to the crowd of this than Liv and Becky doing their back and forth. So like, no, you don't even need Dakota to translate. Just have Io yell at her in Japanese, which sounds awesome, and you mean Becky, you mean kind of doing her thing.
Yeah.
But it is just I don't even understand what's going on with it either, to be honest. Like her revenge tour is winning the belt, I guess, but she like the revenge thing was against Rhea, who she
Yeah.
already
Yeah.
hurt.
Yep.
So now like her revenge tour is like winning a belt, but that's not really a revenge thing. That's just like I want to win
It's
the belt. You know
yeah,
what I mean? As opposed to like
Yeah. Who's she getting
my
revenge on
revenge
now?
tour is I'm gonna beat up all the women on the roster
Right.
for not showing. That would be a revenge tour to me. So
yeah.
this whole thing, I don't get. Uh, if Dom helps her win though in Saudi, I'm gonna pop so hard for it though. So like you you will win me all the way back, even though I think this is the worst chemistry of a feud I've seen in a while on WWE, other than any feud with Bronson Reed. But like it's just am I wrong for thinking this is just and I like both the
No,
people,
I agree. I agree too.
but
I
you think it's
definitely
more of a Rhea thing?
I think so. I think that because we all know that this is just a placement. This is just filler, you know. So it's
Yeah.
like if Rhea didn't get hurt, we would have had Rhea versus Liv. You know,
Yep.
Becky filled in for Rhea. Becky was going on vacation. She can't go on vacation because she had to carry the load right
Carry
now.
the belt.
You
Yep.
know, and so everything still is centered around Rhea Ripley, even though she's not even here.
Mhm.
You got the Liv and Dom situation going on, which is still part of the Liv and Rhea thing. You know, so Rhea's whole is still in effect.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Liv will always be in Rhea's shadow until they actually face each other again. Um,
Yeah.
it's I think Rhea is the the whole arc of this whole thing, and the Dom and Liv thing is keeping her alive and around, while Becky's just like the sideshow at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
I think Liv's a better natural baby face in my opinion. Because
Mhm.
she's like pretty petite and like her moves aren't really like super hard hitting.
Right.
Mhm.
So I think part of it is she's like in a heel role. Now, if you add the thing is, Dom's a cheat code because you could add Dom to like
Anything.
anyone and
Yeah.
it's automatic like heat that's not what chance. It's just
Yeah.
gonna be booing, which is what you would
Yeah.
rather have. And I think her annoying
Dom is a adobo.
yeah. I think just her character's annoying in a
Yeah.
way that like her like there's just a lot of things like I'm not really like a that's like a weird chipmunk laugh thing. I know I just don't like it that much. And I like
Yeah.
her as a baby face like a lot. And I liked her when she was being like kind of a you mean hard ass when she came back and was
Mhm.
just like attacked Rhea, which got Rhea hurt, but that was the weirdest thing ever. But like you mean where she was just like reckless, kind of just going
Yeah.
crazy, and now it's just like I don't even know what she's doing. She punched the bird person in the face, but yeah, I cannot. And Becky's been not good in it either. Like I don't.
Yeah.
Becky could usually carry a feud, but yeah, I'm not into it one bit. Do you like it, Marlon?
Damn it. I do. I think Becky's doing fine. Just
Yeah.
given what she's been given and having the audible. Liv, honestly, she's starting to grow on me as a heel. But I mean, now that you say that there's really no direction, like what's she getting revenge on? She already got it. You know, it's like the job's done.
Yeah.
Like, what are we pissed about now? Like, you hurt and you injured Rhea. Now you just got to take his boyfriend. That's it. Title's not even Rhea's anymore. It's
Yeah.
Becky. So, I don't know. It's okay to me. I like Becky Lynch. I think she looks amazing every time I see her more and more. I don't. All right, enough about that. But like, I feel like the whole live thing is it's okay. It's okay to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad someone likes it. It's
I like seeing Becky out there, honestly, and I feel like she could carry or she gets the job done. Probably the Seth Rollins of the women's division.
well, she's a lot better on the mic
Better.
than Seth Rollins. Like,
Yeah.
let's be like, Seth was pretty good in the stuff with, you mean, The Rock, and I was actually like impressed. But if you mean, talking about character work, like, like speaking
Yeah.
of annoying laughs, so like bringing Seth Rollins in there. So yeah,
Yeah.
like Seth's awesome, but I'm not like a huge into his, you mean, character per se, but Becky's such a good baby face too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
can't tell if it's just sometimes people don't have chemistry with each other
Mm.
or it's a
With the
live
material they've
thing,
been given.
the material they've been given.
Yep.
It's the whole Becky like Lyra thing is kind of interesting because
Mhm.
Lyra's like had her back every time and is like a good friend, and Becky's kind of weird to her. Am I like I feel like the interactions, it's like, oh, yeah, we're like, I'm gonna be nice to you because we're walking by, like, hey, yo, oh, good luck, and then walks by, and then like, you think she saved you from getting your ass beat like 2 or 3 times, you would like, I don't know, be a bit more supportive,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know? But I think that's gonna be a story. I think she's gonna end up beating you mean Becky probably again, but I don't know, man. Or Becky may not re-sign because she still doesn't have a contract.
Right.
So yeah.
Tony Khan's put fronting a whole bunch of money.
Oh, he'll offer her $10 million.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
Straight cash, homie.
Exactly. Cash money. All right, so that's the wrap up for our Raw review. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. How is the Becky and Liv rivalry being handled? Do you guys like it? Do you not like it? What do you like about it? And then also, just let us know. Be sure to like and subscribe. And then we're going to end the segment right now. So thanks, guys, for listening to the Raw review. All right, do we got time for debates, or you guys want to save it for
I'm
the next one?
good, but it's,
I got time. So this will be
yeah.
the last thing. So we got a hot debate for this week. So I wanted to say that I was gonna tell you guys. I want you guys to kind of think on the spot.
Okay.
So right now I wrote a number down. So you guys, it's a number between 1 and 10. Whoever's guessed the number closest without going over gets to choose whether or not they
Oh,
want
without
to
going over.
defend or um go against
Okay.
the topic. So we should pick. Tell me a number.
Marlon, age before beauty.
I'll go 3.
Three.
You're going with
Okay.
3?
Yeah.
I'll go with 4 then.
I knew it.
I mean, that's your fault for picking it. What is it? It looks like you drew a wiener on your thing. Oh, 4. Sweet.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
Okay.
you wanna be for or against?
Well, I want to know the topic first, or do I just pick? What's the advantage of getting the right thing if I don't know the topic ahead of time?
That's true.
You get
We
to
got another
choose.
topic.
Just choose for or
Oh, what
against.
the heck, man? I wouldn't even cared about winning then. I guess I'll defend. I don't know. What kind of shenanigans? I was all pumped. I got the 4, and then you're like, no, you don't even know what you're defending.
So
Oh,
so I was on IG. I saw someone post a thing about it had Michael Cole and Jim Ross, and it said that Michael Cole was better than Jim
oh
Ross.
my God.
Thomas, did
Sweet.
you even watch during that time? I want to know, like, is this even a fair like
Oh, well,
subject?
I watch AEW, so I have Jim Ross in there too.
Okay. but like the Michael Cole of old, like it was like him and Taz together a lot, or him and King. Like,
Hmm.
is this something you have the
I,
enough
d-
like?
I- a little bit.
Okay,
I'm more of like um JR and King together is more of
yeah,
what which is
yeah,
um
I mean, just take your knowledge of
oh, am I
JR
supposed to do
with King.
okay. I could do Cole now, like just in
yeah,
general.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
yeah,
The body of work.
yeah.
Um okay.
So Tom, so Wade is defending Cole, and I'm defending JR, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
So way to defend the idea that Cole is better than JR, and you're opposite. That he's not better than JR.
okay.
Correct.
Now I'm trying to
Okay.
think of like what I know about JR. Okay,
All right, I'll go. I would say for Cole, uh I think he has been able to progress with the times and evolve, which JR, to me, he's you mean kind of the same JR where he's had the same exact style. Um, he does have a great voice and style, but he has not moved forward. You mean as the sport has improved and progressed throughout the time. Um, I think Cole, particularly when it seems like he doesn't have someone in his ear telling him everything to say. Uh, now that the psychopath is kind of out of the company, I think we've seen a whole other side of him that is a lot more fun. Um, I actually enjoy. Um, I think there's more to commentating than just like you mean saying what's happening in the matches. I like his enthusiasm with even the stuff as silly as with um what's her name with
Right back to
the
oh,
no but like with Pat McAfee, like you could tell he's having a good time, like, and I think when you could tell people are having fun at work, it makes it fun. Like I'm not a fan of Pat McAfee, but you could tell he loves Pat McAfee and everything Pat McAfee says, even if I don't think it's particularly funny, he's just dying and having a great time at work, which I think is great for the viewer. I but Valhalla, that's who I was thinking of. His stuff with like Valhalla and the horns, like just that whole arc of everything, and then he finally wears the horns. I was a huge fan of that. And I think he has the best record of commentators at WrestleMania matches, even though that is one of the worst matches known to man. But he does have a winning record in matches at WrestleMania. So yeah, I got to give it to him. Does JR have that? Absolutely not. So I don't know. Your thoughts, Marlon?
yeah. Those are all very, very valid points. But you know what? I'm gonna go with legacy and memory and who's got the buying power. So you talked about how JR has not evolved or is probably doing the opposite, degenerating or devolving, if that's a word. Um, I would say JR went from, doing interviews to getting ringside to becoming a staple in the voice of WWE, even with Vince McMahon in his ear. So he took what was directed and he made it his own. The Southern drawl puts him at an advantage type of disposition because I feel like the people are just their ears tune into that a little bit more. And his chemistry with King to me was better than his chemistry with Michael Cole and King. But JR, as far as legacy goes, has all of the catchphrases of what the millennials grew up with as far during the Attitude Era. It's like, it's Stone Cold! It's Stone Cold! By God, he's here! And then King going, what? What's he doing here? He's supposed to be in jail. Like, so those lines Calm down, King. Oh, I just want to see some puppies. Like so JR's um screaming and ranting during the biggest pops of the Attitude Era are what the people now, the people who have the buying power, the millennials and up, that's what stuck with them as far as the legacy goes. So anytime you watch anything from the Attitude Era, my God, he just broke that man in half. Or like, for God's sake, somebody's got to stop him. Triple H, you son of a bitch. You sick son of a bitch.
That is my favorite
Like,
call. The match
yeah.
of Triple H and Shawn
He broke the
Michaels,
man in half.
the
Like,
SummerSlam
like
match.
those things like stick in your head. And whenever you see any clip from the Attitude Era, like JR enhances that moment and makes it what it is. Now, I will give it to you for sure. Michael Cole is goading and goading himself more and more because he does not have the screaming tyrant in his ears anymore. And I agree. He's definitely become a lot more lax and jovial and playful like on the mic. So, but that's my argument for JR. It's just you got his name, you got his voice, you got the legacy, and you got the people now who've bought into wrestling because of someone like him.
Can I rebuttal on this?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the thing with Michael Cole started like the same way as JR. Like he started with the interviews
Backstage.
and all of that too.
Mhm.
So I would say those cancel each other out. So that's not really a point from you. But I would say, you know what? Yes, his chemistry with King was better, but it's because they're both perverts. So I don't know if that's like really something to like you mean say someone's legacy is better is you mean you work really well with a pervert because you're also a pervert. So I all you have to do is look at JR's likes. It's all you mean meat rubs and rubbing the girls' legs on Twitter. So I mean I don't know what to tell you there. So that kind of taints his legacy, pun intended. And uh yeah, I just the King thing, like when I rewatch, you know what, the highs of um of JR are great. Like he does have some amazing calls. But when I watch the Attitude Era thing too, I would say I have to hear way more creepy and disturbing stuff on there than like I hear amazing calls. So like and a lot of it is King, and then he's kind of like egging King on and stuff. But just and I'm significantly more perverted than Marlon is. So like if I am bothered by these things, I don't know how the normal person feels because it like I feel like I have to take a shower after watching Attitude Era stuff with King and JR on the calls. So yeah, it's just the objectifying women and all that stuff, and like I'm not trying to be you woke police over here, but I mean it's pretty jarring, even for me. So that part really you mean messes with the legacy of JR, where like I got to put both of those things together. I do agree the highs are very high, but the lows are low, and I'm not even his stuff in AEW, and he's old now and has had some health things. So, when he was full time in AEW, and I'm not like it wasn't particularly great. Some of it is because of the age and his health problems.
Mm.
Um, but since he's been limited to like really, really big matches and stuff, it does give you the vibe of JR kind of calling some big stuff, and he can kind of tag in, and you get the all the positives from him just because the side commentators in AEW are so good, particularly Excalibur. So, um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, the stuff from the attitude and ruthless aggression really it takes me out of it with JR and King personally.
Right. Yeah. I see what you're saying. I see where you're coming from. It took me a few years for me um to get accustomed to Michael Cole in recent times. I mean, when he was with Taz, I really enjoyed that because Taz brought
Mhm.
a lot of edge and voice to it and oomph to Michael Cole during that time. But when Michael Cole was with like during the pre-COVID days, before pre Thunderdome, I just feel like a lot of it, I know he was being yelled at in his ear, but like it
Mhm.
just came off as so insincere. I don't think he did good with the material. He sounded robotic sometimes, and it almost just became white noise where like the commentary wasn't even a factor in the match. I was just watching some mediocre wrestling. So for me, during that time specifically, I think during Bloodline and out, he's gotten a lot better for various reasons. But I think now that time, that window after Ruthless and PG era and leading up to Kofi Mania at that time, like Michael Cole to me was just like a puppet. And to me, that's what that sounded like to me. So,
J-
um,
uh,
which is
just confirming, you're talking about the time period that was the worst wrestling and worst writing in WWE, and he
yes,
wasn't able
yes.
to make those terrible
Yeah.
matches sound
Yeah.
exciting. I'm just
Yeah,
trying to
I know
confirm that.
that's definitely arguing, but even so, it's like I don't think anybody remembers anything of significance during that time. And I know it's if we're gonna go with like personal preference, like to me it sounded super monotone, robotic, and I know he was trying to work with what he had, but yeah, that's it. But for the JR stuff during that time, it's like that was the zeitgeist during that time. It's like his level of perversion was a lot more subtle. He would try to calm King down. He would try to put details on the match of what was actually happening in the mud wrestling bikini match. God. or
Very
or
tasteful.
Stacy
He was
Keach
very tasteful in
or
those calls.
Stacy. Yeah, he was trying to just call it what it was. He wasn't trying to put his like any garnishing or personal
As
preference
King's
on it.
like, hey,
Yeah.
kitty, 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 kitty. Yeah.
Well, King's like, puppies. Hey, JR, do you like puppies? Hey, JR, do you like pie? I do like some pie, if I must say so myself. But like, I feel like as far as like JR goes during that time, like he just tried to keep it straight laced while still, leaning in a little bit to what King was doing. So I know you definitely had the harder part, and you had some great counter arguments, man. Like especially during the AEW stuff. So yeah, I
But
respect
so
Michael
before we
Cole.
wrap it up real quick, Marlon, give me your best match you think JR has called.
Ooh, um, I'll give you the one that I have most memory of.
Okay.
Um, it was the man, it's got to be Mankind Undertaker.
Thumbs
And
up.
then also Triple Threat, um, China, I mean Triple H, Stone Cold, and Mankind. That one was awesome too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same question for you, Marlon, but with Michael Cole. Thomas, but with Michael Cole.
I actually really liked, even though we were there in person, but I rewatched it. The Cody Rhodes versus um Roman Reigns from 40. I thought the way he was like going through and kind of like talking through just like how epic everything was. I really liked his
Mhm.
call for that match. And I thought, I mean, us being there in person, that was like really epic, but it's I thought he was able to make it feel like almost as epic for the people who were sitting at home.
Okay.
When Undertaker appears, he's like, "Holy Christ!"
Yeah.
Yeah, that part was awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Um, so if I had to, it's hard to say for me. Because I grew up listening to Jim Ross, you know. But then I sit through that whole period of Michael Cole coming through in that transitional period there and listen to those growing pains of like, yo, well, I've changed. Like, who wants change? Who no one really likes change all the time, right? So it was like Then we get to Michael Cole. And I'm like, man, I miss JR. I want JR to come back. Every once in a while, he'll come back and do, some WWE event or whatever. And it was like, oh man, I miss JR. He used to be back or whatever. And then Michael Cole started to become the norm for me. And
Mhm.
I started to vibe with more what he was saying, just in general. The whole like mysterious GM thing that was kind of whack at times or whatever, but it was still cool. You still got to see him be a character, you know. But then to see him get to this point where he is at now, and even the stuff that he had, well, back then when he was doing backstage interviews,
He was
the
good.
interactions that he was having with DX or The Rock or whoever the case
Yeah.
may be, JR never had that,
Right.
per se. And so to be have like that type of fun or be getting wedgies by DX, no one was doing that to JR, so that was a different side of Michael Cole. So you get to see different sides of Michael Cole through his career, you
Mhm.
know, uh, his personality grow and change and whatnot, and to the point that we get now, looking for the antlers from Valhalla,
Mhm.
Um, haven't went back to Rush WrestleMania 40 yet, but I remember watching just the match of the Usos versus Sami Zayn
Mm.
and KO. He kicked out the Run D. He kicked out the Run D. Like that energy was crazy. So I might, and then like say to see where JR is now, I feel like it does hurt his
Mhm.
image because I'm used to a certain style from JR.
Mhm.
I'm used to seeing JR at a certain pinnacle, and so now seeing him like this and him not be able to do it like he used to do it, it's kind of like watching Flair at 78 years old out here wrestling still. For me, it's kind of hurts your legacy. Like, dude, you solidify. You go chill somewhere. You don't have
Mhm.
to do this anymore. Like, you hurt my memories of you. So right now, I think I gotta go with Cole, man. For me, right now, I just like what Cole is doing. Uh, he's having fun. Like you can see, like say, like you mentioned, Thomas. Like man, seeing people have fun at work, that like yo, it's
Mhm.
cool. You can feel it. Like they was joking about the Puma thing. He's fast as a Puma. Let
Yeah.
me
Right.
know about the speed of a Puma. Like
Right.
them like just cracking up on the side there. Like that's amazing. So for me, I think not saying that it's a landslide, like Cole is up here and JR's up here, but it's still Cole edges out JR a little
Mhm.
bit for me right now.
Mhm.
I really like Cole and Corey Graves together. Well,
Yeah.
that's
Me
actually my
too.
favorite of Cole's combos just because I think it is fun for him to like it's yeah, it's nice when you see him having fun with you mean Pat McAfee, but like
Mhm.
Corey, I actually like Corey Graves a lot. And I
Me too.
think just like his stuff where like Dom like he's like talking up like how much of a badass Dom is, and then you got Cole who
Yeah.
hates him, and you mean Cole like I like Cole's like rivalry with like Bailey and stuff and
Yeah.
like all that yeah, I really like his stuff with Bailey a lot. Like they're good with talking crap to each other, which I don't really remember JR doing that too much, but
Hmm.
um I mean now that we're gone through the thing, I actually like JR better. That would be my pick, but I had to sell on Michael Cole. The highs of JR are just so good in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like those epic calls. Um
There's
and
like a compilation of him calling Triple H a sick son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, oh man.
so good.
That that SummerSlam, like him versus HBK, and
Yeah.
oh my god, that one's so so epic. That's probably my favorite call ever. That would have been my pick if I had to pick one from
Yeah.
him. Just yeah, it was so epic. But no, that was fun. I'm yeah, I mean I don't like your tactic of let me get the number, winning the number and then not knowing what I get to pick, but it's whatever.
That's great. All right, so that wraps up our this episode of Tables, Ladders, and Bumps. Big thanks to Wade and Ringside P. Where can they find you guys?
You can find me on IG, um, Spotify, TikTok, YouTube under Super Kid Podcast or Super Kid Pod, some variation of that. But yeah, check me out, man.
You can find me at Wade Wrestling and Comedy. And you could also find my TED Talk too, not my TikTok. I'm just kidding.
Awesome.
But go ahead.
And you can find me on Instagram at then now whatever with a period in between all of those words. And that is it for Tables, Ladders, and Bumps. Be sure to like and subscribe if you liked what you heard, or if you want to give any input in the comments, we'd be more than happy to interact. This wrestling universe is freaking awesome, and we love engaging in conversation. So thanks again for listening, and we will see you guys on the next one.